Hello and welcome back to coverage of the 2023 European Masters Disc Golf Championships, an exciting and prestigious event where players can represent both their nations and their teams here on the biggest scale. This is round 3 front 9 MP40 lead card coverage brought to you by MDG Media. I'm Connor Wood, and with me once again, Stanislaus Amann.
Hello, I'm psyched to be here. We are halfway through the tournament. Things are getting spicy.
No doubt we see Anders coming in. He's had a fantastic second round. Showed a great display of his angle control, his approach and game off the tee, nearly immaculate. Excited to have him really pushing the pace here on the lead card for round 3.
Yeah, second on the group with a very hot 12 down in second round. Mika Laikko from Finland, rated 996. Definitely the dark horse here on the card.
Another Finnish player joining him, his third out of the 3 rounds on MDG. He has been present on the feature and lead cards. Tapani Aulu, really strong command of both the backhand and the forehand, as well as the putt from 8 to 12 or 14 meters. He was just on fire. Looking forward to him carrying that momentum here into the final round 3.
Oh yeah, and last but not least, the legend himself, Nybo, the reigning European Masters champion, trying to defend his title. 2 rounds to go for him. And just like that, we start with the first hole, par 4. First opening shot is a big swinging hyzer. You're really trying to land it in a very specific spot in order to have a good access to the green. First shot is about 110 meters. You need to watch out. There's some OB long and also OB bunker short. This secondary fairway, the tunnel is about 70 meters. Yeah, if you're in good position, you're looking good to get a first birdie to get things started.
And a great shot by Anders there. Has pushed well clear of that line, I think, at a good spot to be able to look down the tunnel. We go to Mika here.
The man bringing in some style with those glasses. I love it. Just coming up a bit short. Oh, flirting with the OB. Oh, and it just sneaks out. That's gonna be a hard par save from that position, I think.
Tapani now. In previous rounds was pushing it quite straight, opening up the width. Today, however, similar to Mika, just finds himself on that short OB left line. We'll see if he was able to curl back or not. Would have been very close either way. KJ now. Coming in 2 strokes behind Anders to this third round.
That's looking quite good. Coming up just a bit short of the corner again, like yesterday. But also we have seen yesterday he was able to manufacture some kind of forehand Annie to the green. Let's see if he can do that again.
Tapani going out wide and shaping the turnover forehand. We see that stability that he needed just to kick in a little bit too early. Was not able to hold the turn down the tunnel, but should give him a jump putt or so to the basket. And Anders here, just starting his round. Once again, as he was playing, beautiful pure shot right down the tunnel.
Yeah, just clean. Mika here with a nice low skipper. Really getting it down the tunnel, very close to the basket. Should be a very nice par save for him.
KJ shaping the forehand as well. And a beautiful shot from him there. You mentioned, Stan, that historically he's really a backhand dominant player, but in this tournament has shown some great forehand shots. That one included. And Tapani, you see what he's left with here. Just a short skip up.
Yeah, we see some really nice forehand touch shots by our masters so far. I think Anders, the only one maybe that we haven't really seen using the forehand so far.
As we see now, just their short putts to clean up. Hole 1 did actually average a 3.55 here in round 3, so certainly a hole that you want to get an attack for on the first. We see only Tapani finding some trouble for our lead card.
Yeah, good start for 3 of the guys here. As we move over to hole number 2, another pretty gettable one, just a little bit shorter than 100 meters. Starts with a straight tunnel here. It bends slightly to the right at the end of the flight, so forehand is most likely a little bit more comfortable throwing to this gap. Backhand works as well though. Definitely one you want to have at least a look at the birdie. So let's check out how Anders is doing on that one. Seems like mid-range disc, I think. Yeah,
I think so. We see the understability kick in, quite a lot of glide, and just another smooth delivery to the green for Anders. Very nice shape and really didn't hit a thing other than the floor.
Oh, I just realized Mika was not in the OB on the first hole as he had the birdie. And he is delivering a really nice shot here as well. Just turning over a bit, but crashing long.
We'll leave him with a semi-obstructed putt there. Around or over those trees, KJ. No stranger to this sort of shot.
I would love so much to know what kind of discs KJ is throwing exactly. I knew his Innova bag quite well, but his new Discraft bag, I guess a lot of buses probably as a mid-range, and I don't know what kind of fairway he would go to.
Tapani with this low pushing shot, the late overstability, and picture perfect. You see his smooth control there on the forehand hyzer, and that'll be a solid bounce back birdie for his second hole after his bogey on 1. Always great to see and just good for your mindset in the round.
Yeah, absolutely. Here KJ with a very long look, just sailing by the basket. Will be left with a pretty short par putt. Mika here from the woods.
Nice. Gives it a stab and finds it to go 2 through 2. Left himself with a little bit of work there, but very nicely done.
Yeah. I think those are some of the most fun birdies if you throw it like near the basket but slightly abstracted. Then you still connect on the putt. Those feel great.
Anders very deliberate there. Even on the short putt, you see him giving that full focus. Tapani shocked that he is parked in the bullseye, saying he thought it faded a bit too early, but an amazing shot for him there.
Yeah, only KG left out of the birdie party on hole number 2, but he can get it back on the third. Pretty gettable hole here, 70 meters, just a straight line. Pick your straightest putter, or maybe mid-range. Throw it just as close as possible to the basket. There's some rough long. There's also left and right of the fairway pretty thick woods where you don't want to end up. So let's check how those guys are doing. Do you have some stats for us? How many percent did birdie this one today?
Interestingly, here on hole 3 today, it did average a 2.8 with about a third of the field finding the birdie. Although quite attackable, not without its troubles, and I think very easy to have a slightly compromised look. That one firing a bit long.
Mika here just sneaks by those first big trees, but still ends up somewhere halfway the fairway maybe a little bit further.
Tapani shaping just the flip up to flat shot, gets a soft kiss, and that'll be another one left just with a tap in for his birdie as well. A great throw, but also a great touch off the trees. KJ here. Wow.
Yeah, just a little bit lucky and ends up almost in bullseye. It's a good bounce back after him being the only one not getting the birdie on the previous one. Here Mika with the very long look.
And a great bid. Able to keep it close as well at the height. We see there from the bushes, Anders trying to find his birdie, but heavily obstructed, unable to get it out cleanly. We go to Mika, significantly closer, and for his par, Tapani adjacently for his birdie.
Yeah, quite usual scores most likely here. 2 pars, 2 birdies for our group. Anders just jumping out of the way, not disturb KJ. And we move over to the 3rd hole, which is the start of a par 4 turkey. Basically, we have 3 par 4s in a row now. This one is the first to kick things off. 150 meters, dog leg to the left, halfway down the fairway. Opening shot is basically almost the same than the previous hole. And then you turn to the left and you have another straight alley here down to the fairway, down to the basket. You really need to make sure to land in a very specific spot in order to have a good birdie look. Otherwise you're left with some very abstracted options most likely, or maybe just a layup.
Yeah, a great thematic hole. Really in the style of this course, requiring the placement, the touch, navigating through the trees, often scrambling in the rough. You see Tapani there, early to the left side, but I think still potentially far up enough to try and battle around the corner with a forehand. We see KJ just really smooth, low line. Pretty good spot, maybe a touch short, but likely with a great look to the green.
Yeah, we have seen KJ puring this gap all 3 rounds now. Anders with a really nice looking one as well, just catches some of the branches and ends up short. I'm not sure what kind of look he has from there.
Mika with quite a forceful turnover with a more stable disc, and you see it really fights through to a great result in that sweet spot.
One of the spectators just running away pretty shyly.
A local, I think.
Yeah, most likely. Anders again using this secondary rough kind of fairway. Not so sure where he ends up there. Mika on the other hand just going on the main fairway, leaving it a little bit early left and catching a tree. He is most likely in circle 2.
Yeah, we see Mika opting for more of a soft any release with a stable disc by preference compared to these other guys who are throwing more of an understable hyzer flip down the tunnels. It's interesting to see players' preferences. That was a decent shot there by KJ, finds himself on the green and putting once again. As you mentioned, he's had great throws historically and so far in the tournament. Tapani doing the same, getting a nice shot right up there. These guys making it look like a pretty wide and generous second tunnel.
Yeah, it's really not that easy of an upshot because you have to pick on the angle you throw. Here Anders from that backdoor fairway getting it through those trees inside the circle.
Oh, Mika so close to connecting on that one. I believe for his birdie there, he'll be left with a par. KJ snagging that one, going 3 down through the first 4 here. Will be matching Mika at 20 under. Always a very tight battle here. This course offering some great separation as well as a lot of attackable holes.
Yeah, and as we speak of separation, those 4 guys really have separated themselves from the whole pack in the MP40 field in the previous 2 rounds, so it's really almost a battle between those 4 guys now for the title, I think. Let's see how this goes on.
Most certainly, you could imagine that in round 3 here is where it will be defined, their lead for the final day, but at only halfway in the tournament, of course, anything could still happen. We move to hole 5.
Yeah, second par 4 in a row. Big opening hyzer shot. You also have to manage to get out of this main gap. And preference number 1 is to be as left as possible, to have a good look here to the basket. Slightly uphill approach. If you're far enough left, you will just play another backhand hyzer. Otherwise, there's some options to attack it on a forehand. It's a really nice green, as you can slide it up this little mount to the basket. There's obviously some rough on the left and on the right side here, especially in the secondary fairway.
KJ has a nice width and height here, clearing the branches. That'll have a lot of fade, and even without the catch cam angle, look to have been a very solid shot. Tapani here getting this late release, really not where you want to be. He'll be significantly pinched, likely going to the forehand, but we saw him scramble from a similar spot in round 2, so at least he'll know what he's doing there, and Anders now.
Yeah, looks like a quite okay spot. Not that much hyzer as KJ, but still manageable. Mika here. He's just using a quite interesting run-up, using this little hop, instead of the X-step, but getting that out pretty clean.
We go to Tapani here. We'll need to cut this quite inside and then trust the overstability to get a lot of rightwards movement. And very similarly to the previous round, he does just that and gives himself a look at that range that he is quite comfortable at. Still a big putt left though, and KJ, ideal landing zone, pretty ideal upshot. He's looking really solid right now, putting it all together.
Yeah, KJ really, after this kind of hard second round, he seems to be super confident now in the third again. Anders, on the other hand, doesn't really fall back either.
An absolutely pure line to the pin. Just look at the line he drew up. Dissecting the tunnel, making the gap look enormous and pinning it for good measure.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone throwing the straight shot better than Anders right now at the moment. He's looking so solid on those.
And this course, I think, really complementary to having that shot dialed, which he does, and you can see that's leaving him as your leader right now, just by 1 stroke over Mika and KJ at the moment.
Yeah, I would really wonder how the young top guys would perform on this course at the moment. I think they would have a hard time catching Anders and KJ, and obviously Mika and all those guys playing so good at the moment.
That was a sick putt by Mika from the edge of the bushes. Pretty crucial moment for him to maintain pace, and he's done just that. Tapani, a solid par, left himself with a difficult shot off the tee and then did well to get his way to the green, as we see just some tap-ins here for KJ and Anders.
Great work by our lead group once again as we move over to the third par 4 in a row. This might be even the easiest of all 3, I don't know. It's rather short, comes in at 175 meters. There's OB all the way on the left. There's a pretty thick wood on the right side of the fairway. There's also 2 OB bunkers in the middle of the fairway, so basically you're just trying to clear the first one and then have a pretty short upshot to the basket and hopefully get your birdie. The hole most likely plays a little bit better to the forehand, so it might be playing to Tapani's strength, but also is well manageable with the backhand as well, especially if you have that great of a control shot as KG does or Anders.
Really smooth right to the sweet spot. That should open up a straight or slightly left to right look for KJ. Played a little bit more out to the left. Anders here with the slightly more traditional backhand line over the right side of the island. More stable disc. You see him too in quite a fine spot. Both of those guys still looking to attack, most certainly.
Almost too good. Mika mentions that was a rip by Anders. So let's see. Mika seems to have a mid-range in his hands. Just using that hop again, throwing it straight over the first bunker. Don't fade out too much. That's flirting.
He hangs on.
Yeah.
And that'll be a fine spot. The more left you are, the more of a straight look it is rather than a left to right. Tapani
yeah,
here.
Absolutely.
Gonna just play the overstable forehand. Very nice.
So once again, we basically have 4 looks at the birdie. Second shot, especially if the backhand isn't that easy as it turns to the right quite a lot. There's some thick bushes to the right of the basket as well. So not that easy to stick it close.
But Mika, so far left on the fairway, does offer a straight to stable flight there and finds himself in a good spot. KJ using the width significantly more, getting that high turnover. Comes up just a little bit short, quite a gentle throw from him, but some good angle control to maintain the turnover throughout the flight. And Tapani here has made this hole look very easy on each round, and he's done it again here, just 2 chip forehand hyzers.
And that's what Mika told us before in the video. Almost too good. Just a very easy putt-up shot for Anders. We'll get another birdie here. I can spoil that.
The mystery's alive, however, for KJ. And unfortunately off the band. Misses that opportunity, but will be left with a par.
Yeah. He is for sure not happy. Most likely losing a stroke on all of his card mates here. If they can connect in those short putts.
Most certainly, and from inside the circle as well. KJ being a very strong putter from quite a range. Certainly not one that you want to give up there on 6. It did come in as statistically the easiest of the 3 par 4s, but still averaged just over 4 at 4.02. So,
yeah,
for the field, was still a pretty balanced hole.
Yeah, there's a lot of OB on this one as well, so if you don't throw it perfectly, you can end up with some extra strokes very quickly. Hole number 7. This one is a tricky one, as you have to stick the island. Island green, you only can proceed to the island if you really stick it, otherwise you will be left with a drop zone shot, which is approximately 40 meters away on the other side of this OB river. I guess all 4 players are gonna attack the island. There's a slight hyzer line that players like to use on this one quite a lot. Anders up first.
And he's looking to play this hyzer line, although pretty much a straight flight. He needs to slow it down at the end and finds that in time. Leaves him, looks to be just within the circle, I think. Happy to stick the island. That's really the priority here for our players. We go to Tapani.
I was using this very gentle hyzer line here, fading just in time, slowing his disc down just before the OB. He will have a look for the birdie as well.
KJ shaping this hyzer as well. He really likes to push the width and try to park the hole, sneaking under the branches. And he's done just that. Really nice execution of his line there. Stan, walk us through this.
Oh man, this is just such a committed line. Straight to the trees, low driven. Misses the branches, skips one time. Just ends up under the basket. Amazing shot by KJ. Great commitment after missing out the previous hole.
Mika, looking to match here, is also going to be contending with those branches, and we'll see if his stability is enough. Unfortunately not, as he has been flirting with OB all round. I believe that's the first time he has actually found it, taking him to this drop zone. And a smooth upshot should be leaving him with his bogey save. We see Anders here, quite an exciting moment with the other guys closer. This is him to really make a statement, and incredible birdie putt at that moment.
Wow. Just another very long putt by one of our lead card guys. Quite a push putt.
Yeah, the preferred shape for Anders there. Had a little bit of wobble, not too much spin, a lot of height, and just dead on. Yeah.
Also just releasing the putt on hyzer, really committing it to push forward. And here we have Tapani just missing one from around 10 meters. We are not used to that. Connected on most of those so far.
But certainly, of course, in these big tournaments, many rounds of golf, it's easy to let a few putts that you might be comfortable with slip through. KJ, not needing to putt, has a simple tap in for his birdie. Some nice shots there on 7. What do we have here?
Yeah, another pretty tricky one. Quite narrow tunnel to get. It's about 180 meters, par 4. Basket is tucked just slightly to the right at the end. Main objective is here to stay in bounds. There's OB left and right. Pretty narrow fairway. Actually, there's not that much room to land your disc. So just pick something straight. Maybe distance helps a lot if you gain a lot of distance off the tee. And yeah, Anders probably tried a little bit too hard here, getting all the distance, and grip locks it terribly to the right. He will be left with a pretty tricky bogey save, most likely.
And KJ with a inverse error, the slightly early release, and does in fact sneak his way over that OB line. Sometimes you'll see that hillside filter discs back to safety, but not for KJ there. Tapani with a conservative line right down the middle.
You can really see this one tree in the middle of the fairway. It's a rather small tree. If you're past that, then you might have quite a good look at the birdie. If not, then it's most likely going to be hard. So we see Mika just flying past this one tree, and Anders here with a very obstructed already third shot, and still short of that one tree.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people would even consider re-teeing from where he was, given that there was not much distance and the angle was much harder. You see from where he's throwing from, could have been a tee shot. And he's able to shape that pretty far up the fairway and is in the green, gives himself a putt and a chance at the par save after a very errant release. That would be a great 4 to take.
Actually, I think he's playing for bogey already, as he was OB on the tee shot.
Ah, of course, yeah, so absolutely.
This is still a long look, but yeah, not impossible. Tapani, on the other hand, giving himself a chance for the birdie.
KJ shaping this overstable flex, but gets caught up along the way, and that significant overstability not offering as much glide as I think he would have liked there.
Yeah, that was quite a long forehand, honestly, for KJ. I think that was more than 100 meters through a gap, and Mika also coming up short, hitting some of those guardian trees before the basket. So we will be left with some interesting putts, most likely here.
A good plan and a good execution for KJ there. Took the largest gap, although it may not have been his best chance to go in. It was his best to find the green, and he's done just that. Mika from downtown off the band, really looking to salvage that one, and just a matter of centimeters for him.
I mean, that's like strokes on folks now if he could have connected on that, as Anders just barely misses his bogey putt. Here Tapani with a chance to take at least 2 strokes.
And it's so good. That's the Tapani putt that we've been seeing. He has it here again in round 3 on hole 8. And at that range, the man is just very skilled. Pleasure to watch.
If the MDG guys make like a best of Tapani's outside circle putt, the video would probably longer than one of these front 9, back 9 videos. It's like no one would watch it because it's almost boring because it's so many of them.
It does sometimes feel like a certainty at that sort of in-between range for him. It's great to see.
Amazing, yeah. Just a bit of score separation here on hole number 8 as we move over to the first par 5 of the course. 230 meters. Very straight line to start. Second shot needs to go around this corner here, most likely with a skip. And then there's a new fairway just to the basket here. Another gap to hit at the end. Very technical par 5 and also not impossible to eagle. So if you have a clean first one, I think it's about 140 to the corner. Then you could have a shot to the basket already with the second one. Let's see if someone gets through the gap clean.
Tapani looking to shape the overstable forehand flex, but has a lot of height. Was able to fight through the branches, and I think while certainly obstructed, he does look to be out in the open, and I think technically on the fairway.
Here Mika with a nice, just a very slight hyzer, finding himself in basically perfect position, I think, to play his second shot.
And Anders there. Once again, a pretty fast and aggressive looking run up for him. He is often doing so on some of these longer holes, but on the last hole you saw him find some trouble. KJ with a piercing shot. That is ideal. Fantastic use of the height and turnover there.
Yeah, he is so good at this. So Anders here, you can see a T sign of one of the shorter layouts here next to him. Maybe just slightly, yeah.
In his throwing stroke, right?
Yeah, possible. I think they have like a total of 3 different layouts here for all the different age divisions. So it might come in play if you have like a not ideal tee shot. Mika here with a very nice second shot, well driven through the gap, getting the skip. He will be left with about 60 meters to the basket.
Yeah, really nice. Around the corner, we look to see KJ do the same. Finds the skip. Both of those guys hitting really pure shots, and you see them right next to each other. Great dissection here of this hole. Hole 9, as a par 5, was one of the most difficult on the course, averaging 5.33. Was really a considerable test with both its length as well as its width available. These guys needing great precision. Tapani does open his way up into the clearing, but you think he has a chance to the green from there?
I think so, yeah. I think he's just going a little bit more on the backside of the fairway as his drive just faded out on the forehand. And here, Anders just from the woods, getting it back in position. He will most likely just settle for par, yeah. This is like 80, 90 meters into the green. Just his favorite shot. Straight up. Yeah.
You see that forwards pushing flight, always on a hyzer angle, but really not moving left at all. Able to keep it flat on its connection to the earth. Good shot by Anders. Tapani here. Yeah, most certainly able to just shape his forehand. Doesn't hit that very last late gap cleanly, but will have a likely off the knee putt or straddle out. As we go to KJ now.
Yeah, he is already very close, almost trying to throw that one in. So, Mika gonna be even closer. Yeah, that's not more than 50 meters, I think. Going to the standstill putter here. Just throwing it soft and nice. Perfect.
As we see the putts, we're left with Tapani up first, sitting at 20 under at the moment. And they're just off the cage, a little bit low for him. I believe we'll be tapping in his par. This is Anders our leader, for the par save there.
Yeah, with the errant drive, that's quite a good par save, honestly. There's a lot of rough on the hole, so if you're not in position, it's not that easy to play. Mika with a very nice birdie.
And yeah, certainly averaging over par. As I mentioned, 5 is a fine score to take here. The 4 is fantastic. And we see KJ there with a good bounce back after hole 8, finding himself at 22 under, just 1 behind Anders as we close out this front 9. 1 ahead of Mika, who he himself is 1 ahead of Tapani. Very tight up at the top.
Oh yeah, things are tight, we see it here. So everything possible here for pretty much everyone. So.
And we see actually the chase card in the field giving a great push. Our leaders had separated a little bit, but with some 6 down performances there through the front 9, they have closed that gap to just 3 strokes now between chase and lead cards. Still very much in play for a lot of candidates to be crowned your next European champion. We appreciate you joining us here today. You can like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. And if you're feeling extra supportive, feel free to check out the Patreon as well. We appreciate all of you. Stan, always a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, man. So see you on the back 9. I am excited for this. This battle is by far not over.